I'll go ahead and get started because I know we did a schedule change this month, and then I just sent the link out in the Slack channel. So we're probably going to be a few people short this week, but that's fine. It's recorded, so everyone will get the recording. Um, my dog's outside fighting. It gets center on the camera here. Okay. So today we're talking about something that I kind of feel like I've come full circle on, which is list building, list development, list growth. And it's something that I feel like marketing as marketers, we talk very list building adjacent sometimes. We talk about different practices that are used in list building, but we're rarely putting the pieces together for the full picture. And in my recent experiences with a few different law firms, list building and community marketing, referral marketing, honestly, it has so many names, is one of the primary drivers of the best cases for these law practices. And when we see law firms consistently growing their marketing list and engaging with their marketing list, we see a corresponding increase in referrals of all types too, not just client to client. We also see more attorney to our law firm referrals and referrals from other businesses. And so when we're having the conversation about how do we get more referrals, we often get really like, I don't know, I was going to say myopic. We kind of narrow our scope and think about, okay, what kind of funnel can we build? What kind of landing page? What kind of letter can we send? But really, those are just pieces of the whole, just things that we should be doing as a part of the bigger picture, which is growing and nurturing a marketing list for a law firm. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And just to go through my outline, I hate to look down in these meetings, so I'll have to hold my tablet up. We're going to go over basically what list building is, like what we're talking about and how you should be thinking about it. Because when I commonly talk about list building, it's usually about email marketing, or it's about like a funnel of some kind, or it's for not even law firms, it's for some other type of business. But I'm going to try to like redefine list building, like what it means and what we should be doing. And then also, I'm going to give you my 5 ways to being effective at list building. And so, to start, like, just give us a big picture, like, what are we talking about? So, list building is collecting, it's essentially collecting people onto a list and growing this list of people. And this represents people who know you. So effectively, it's growing a list of people who know you, the business owner, know you, the marketer, or know of your brand and of your business, and growing the number of people on that list, expanding our reach. And also, the part of list building that's not spoken to enough, engaging that list with content that they like to see, that they want to see, right? So that's what list building is in a nutshell. And when I worked for Great Legal Marketing, growing the attorney marketing list was one of our key marketing goals. That was one of the metrics that we looked at probably each week. We asked, how many new attorneys have we added to our marketing list? And for a business like GLM, we were primarily using Facebook to add people to that list using some sort of like lead magnet. So I don't know if any of you who are in this webinar or anybody who's watching it remember, we had, oh my gosh, I'm not sure I could think of the report. It's like 10 things law firm marketers should know about marketing. We had a better title than that. But commonly, it got shortened in my brain to the 10 things ebook. And that was listicles. That's exactly what it is. And this was a listicle ebook before BuzzFeed. GLM was kind of almost first to market with that kind of style of content. And we offered that ebook via landing page through a Facebook ad. And back then, and actually still currently, you can tweak Facebook ads to target just attorneys, which is good information to know if you ever want to do referral marketing on Facebook, right? And so people would fill out that form and get added to the GLM marketing list. And then we sent out we had like an email drip or an automation follow-up sequence, whatever you want to call it, sent 10 emails as soon as they were added to that list. And then each week until they unsubscribed, we sent them an email newsletter once a week. And GLM was primarily driven by emails, like at least in my time while I was there, we sent a ton of content. And that is generally what I just described to you, the classic model of list building. You make a funnel, people enter the funnel, you nurture them, and hopefully they become buyers, clients, followers. But that particular funnel, the one I just described, is very specifically oriented for a business outcome. You know, we had the start of our funnel, which was our lead magnet. Also, I've heard marketing gurus call these like the juicy carrot, which is kind of wild. You know, they called it the juicy carrot. We're talking about an ebook, right? So that was like the magnet that attracted them. And at the end of this funnel was an outcome, a purchase decision, right? Now, if you've ever tried to build a similar funnel for a law firm, okay, so Kelly knows who I'm talking about then. So if you've ever tried to build a funnel for a law firm, you probably realize that the whole ebook as a lead magnet thing isn't as appealing as it would be for another business like GLM, right? Honestly, it's just super hard to get people enthusiastically interested in an ebook about car accidents, right? Now, there are good and bad examples of personal injury ebooks. You know, there are ways to, you know, I really like books that say like, you know, 5 deadly sins or like the 5 mistakes you can make that'll wreck your personal injury claim. Those types of books performed well, but a lot of the ebooks I see law firms creating are all about car accidents in Washington State or the truth about car accidents in Washington State, which I just named one of my clients' ebooks. That ebook does get downloads, but what we see and what you guys have probably seen is downstream, they don't really lead to a huge volume of cases. And really, that's because most people who have a qualified personal injury case, who call a law firm, they're not going to stop at the point of requesting an ebook, right? You know, they're just going to, I got a case, I got to call an attorney. I don't need to read 5 deadly sins that'll wreck my car accident claim. I just want an attorney today. I want an attorney to take over it now. And when you think about it, that's kind of our ideal client. You know, we don't necessarily need or want to nurture them with an ebook, right? So that classic idea of list building via funnel doesn't exactly work for law firms. And no matter how much we try to modify it and manage it, I'm not saying ebooks aren't a good idea. They're actually a good, you know, juicy carrot, lead magnet, whatever you want to call it. And they're a good like step down offer. So like if you're on a law firm and you're on the phone and it's like, hey, your car accident case is too small for us to help with, but you know, we have this ebook that can help you figure out the basics of a car accident case. You can settle it yourself. You know, ebooks are good for that as well. But when we're thinking about like building a list for a law firm, you know, ebook doesn't really kill it, right? But, you know, what I realized and should have realized sooner, and honestly, it's obvious, like we've said it for years, everyone who calls you goes on your marketing list. And so very mechanically, I've always set it up to where if we do an intake, they go on the email list. You know, if they become a client, they go on the email list and they get a print newsletter. You know, we set these up mechanically, but I guess in a way, it took me a while to think of it like, oh, that's how we build a list for a law firm. We do it naturally. You know, people are already calling us. Oh gosh, I posted a job on Upwork and I'm just getting assaulted with calls. Sorry, guys. So we naturally build a list for a law firm, and the missing piece, you know, one, I mean, a lot of law firms really aren't doing a good job of collecting leads and adding them to a marketing list, and we'll talk about that today because that's usually the first missing piece. The second missing piece, even if the law firm is collecting information, storing those contacts, is engaging with that list. A lot of business owners are guilty of contact hoarding, where we're hyper focused